Hello, welcome to Digital Learning. I'm Connie Kolosey, Director of Media Text and Digital Learning, and I'm here today with my colleague Sarah Truelson. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Connie.
And we are going to talk about our recent visit to the gigantic Orlando Convention Center to go to the Future of Education Technology Conference. This was my second time, but you've been to FETC a couple of times.
Many times, yes.
And so what do you get out of it? What justifies us going over there and doing that?
Well, one of the big pieces that I always get out of it is it's a really nice kind of opportunity to meet with other districts, people who are in similar jobs that to what we are, other teachers, other folks who kind of have the same goals in mind as far as moving us forward as an educational system in our use of technology with our students. And so for me, I always kind of get to hear new ideas, what other districts are doing, how they're implementing new things, new ideas or strategies for getting teachers increased opportunities for professional development and working with students. So that's part of what I get from it. The other really nice piece is they have a beautiful expo hall. So all of the companies and vendors that we work with for our referendum fund, we have a nice opportunity to meet with not only the sales team, which is nice, but a lot of the developers and the people who are designing those programs or pieces of hardware that we're purchasing, so that we can really kind of dig deep and ask them some of the questions we've had throughout the year in a more face-to-face way instead of always just in a webinar or something like that. And we have an opportunity to see what other cool tools are out there that we could introduce to our schools and our teachers to, again, make their jobs easier and, continue to move forward all of the expectations we have for our students and what they're learning.
So one of the great things about this particular year for me personally was we really, as you mentioned, had a chance to meet with a lot of the vendors that we work with. And the thing is, we're really building a digital ecosystem here in Pinellas, and one thing leads to another, and this program has to work with that program. And so we really had a chance to say, okay, vendor, this is what Pinellas needs from you, and we need you to go over there and work with this vendor, and yes, you guys work that out between yourselves so that it is really functional for our teachers and students. Yeah. So I particularly enjoyed our keynote speaker this year.
Yes, Sir Ken Robinson was the speaker, and what a coup for FETC to be able to bring him and listen to his message to all of us, not just lovers of educational technology, but in teaching practice in general and where we should be heading with our students.
Yeah, I found it to be very dynamic, engaging.
Yes.
And he's had a really popular TED Talk out there,
yes,
which can be seen on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So little plug if you haven't
yeah,
heard Sir Ken Robinson's.
It'd be hard to believe because over 49 million people have actually tuned into that particular TED Talk.
Yeah. So that was a big time keynote for us. So we did get our whole team together and meet, for instance, with the SMART team.
Yes. We were able to, and we do this yearly, kind of have a closed door meeting, and some of them are topics that are upcoming that we can't talk about, and other things are kind of opportunities for us to say, this is what our teachers have been saying to us as we do trainings. Can you show us how that might be possible, or is that something that could be in a future release? And what was nice is we were able to see their new online pieces. So it'll be very exciting to add that to what we're training our teachers on right now, that they don't necessarily always have to be working with Smart Notebook installed on the computer. They can also work on Smart Notebook online, throw their lessons up there, put resources up there, really move away from that concept of I have this computer and it has to come with me everywhere, or I'm dead in the water with what I want to teach, to that idea of I'm storing what I'm teaching or I'm storing what I'm collecting in a cloud-based kind of environment that I can pluck on whatever device I've got handy, which is a new concept for a lot of people in general.
So we'll have more training to do,
yes,
to let everybody know that. So in addition to these meetings and kind of group activities that we had, we very purposefully looked through and picked some concurrent sessions so that we could go in and get a little bit more in depth and then come back and share together. So we have some video of us speaking about our concurrent sessions. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Today I went to a session that was presented by some teachers rather than, we went to see Epson this morning and all the bigger names that we work with, Smartboard, but the teachers were there and had found some creative ways to use AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality in the classroom. We're a Microsoft district, so they were a little bit Google heavy. I have to figure out ways to use it for Microsoft, but lots of apps, ideas, Erasma, ThingLink, and ways that the kids can actually be creating things rather than just consuming them.
I did go to a session earlier today about the future empowered librarian. So it talked about how we need to be ready for the kids today with technology in the libraries in the schools. And then I just came from an Apple session on Swift Playground, on coding in the classroom and across the curriculum. So it was really cool to see that everybody should be incorporating coding into their ELA classroom, into their math, into their science, into their technology lessons. So it was very interesting.
My session today was all about open educational resources, and the speaker, Andrew, was talking about how we can use those in our districts, in our classrooms, so we're not quite always tied to the same textbook or the same materials. It's things that teachers can put out there and share with each other from around the globe. Teachers in Kansas can share resources with teachers in Florida and collaborate together to provide more flexible opportunities for students to learn from a variety of different resources. So one of the reasons I went to this session, Larry, is because we have a great tool now in our district called Safari Montage. And Safari Montage is a really great LOR. It's a learning object repository. So we can take all of these open educational resources and stick them in that system and kind of target them individually and build a course, or have teachers take links and build them in their class notebooks, have students access them, and it kind of gives us this ability to take some of these free, uniquely licensed products and meld them in together with what we have in our curriculum. So some states have even gone as far as not having textbooks anymore. They build their own open educational resource textbooks using sources like OER Commons and some other ones that are available.
Well, I had the opportunity to hear Dr. Darrell Adams speak at a previous conference that I had gone to, and so I was encouraged to see him here today. He's a very dynamic speaker. He talked about his experience in San Bernardino, where they had, it was in a very low socioeconomic school, and they implemented a one-to-one iPad project, and all that it takes to make that happen, the planning, the inspiration. So at this point, he's really a motivational speaker for administrators, and so it was great to see him again.
This is a presentation from Pinellas County to show the rest of the state of Florida and the United States, folks that are doing technology, how we handle Battle of the Books and how we have upgraded it from being just paper and pencil to using technology, a much more powerful teaching tool. People who have seen it so far have really been very interested, and they've been they've asked a lot of questions. And we've been very lucky to have the gentleman who helps us run the program, Cranium Core, to help explain a lot of pieces, because there's lots of folks interested in wanting it wherever they are.
I just came out of a session with Kai Rush. He must have been a teacher in Pinellas County years ago, and he's now moved on and has his doctorate, moved to Illinois, and is working with AR and VR in classrooms, specifically schools that have low socioeconomic kids, African American, Hispanic students. So he's done his study with those students using AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality, on library books. So they're going into their libraries and they're recording book trailers for their schools, and they're putting them on the school websites and using them to make the kids be more interested in reading, and then obviously giving the kids context with dinosaur books. And then he took it one step further in some classrooms and had them make their own. They made their own AR and VR. So yes, very cool session. He was very passionate about what he was doing.
So we really covered a lot of ground. And boy, need to have your walking shoes when you're
absolutely.
there. Well, we're going to take a little break right now, and we'll be back, and we're going to show you one of the sessions that myself and Kevin Hagerbrook presented for Safari Montage. So we hope you'll join us. Stay tuned.